Hi Stampers, it's Eleanor McGarry, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Canada, and in this video we're going to be working with the decorative masks, blending brushes, and ink pads to create some beautiful and fun backgrounds. This is the card we're going to be making today, and we're going to be using the decorative masks that are found on page 128 of the catalog. The masks are usually used with embossing paste to add texture to your project, but for this particular video, we're going to use the blending brushes and an ink pad to create a background. To create our background, it's best to use some colored paper underneath your work. Here I'm just using an old folder, the type you'd typically use at the office. I put my white cardstock on top so it's easy to see, and then I add my mask and start carefully applying using the blending brushes. I check now and then to see if I'm happy with the design and keep going if I feel I need more ink. I'm using Granny Apple Green to do this project. When I'm happy with the design, I apply ink all around the edges, and this time I want it to be darker than my design. The darker and more intense, the better. You want there to be a marked difference in intensity between the border and the middle design. So just keep going until you're happy with the look of your project. The next step after doing your background with the masks is to continue on by applying a black border. This is from the Simply Elegant Designer Series paper. This series of paper has a lot of golds and coppers, but more importantly, a lot of black. And I wanted a black border to bring out the stark difference between the white and the bright green. And the black, I think, just stands out beautifully underneath there. So I just added that. And this piece of stripped Designer Series paper measures about 1/2 inch. And it's the width of my layer, which is 4 inches. And then another design that I like to add, another detail that I like to add is just a little sliver of the same color of cardstock as the ink that I used up top. So in this case, I am using a very, very thin sliver of Granny Apple Green, and that goes underneath the black. I find it adds a really interesting design element there to have the black pattern paper, and then underneath that, of just the slightest little peak of color. And I always choose the same cardstock as the ink that I've used up above. And there you have your border. It's not, I have to cut off a strip on the side there, but that's okay because I can just use my cutter for that. Moving on, we're going to create the images now, the peach and then the flowers. And the images that we're going to be using are, for the peach, it's obviously the peach and the stem, and then I'm using one of the flowers from this trio of flowers here. And then the little flowers here, the little tiny flowers, that's actually part of the die cut set, which is, I keep the actual matching die cuts inside the case with my stamps so it's easy to find. So that is these flowers here. Those are the dies that create these cute little tiny flowers. So let's continue with, I'll show you how to stamp the stamp to create the peach. So there's the peach stamp. These are the flowers, and then the leaves. So to get this cute, different, kind of unique coloring on the peach, we are going to use Mango Melody and Pumpkin Pie. And let's just get a surface to stamp. I like to have, so just the colors that we're gonna use are Mango Melody and Pumpkin Pie. And the way I like to do it is I go ahead and ink up the entire stamp with Mango Melody. And then, let's take our cardstock here, using a foam sponge. I pick up some of the pumpkin pie ink and I kind of just brush it on the sides. There's many different ways to get coloring on your peach, so whichever way you find works for you. This is all a subjective hobby, as you know. You do it the best way you want to do it. I happen to like to ink up the whole image with Mango Melody first, and then I sponge pumpkin pie all the way around to get my peach. So let's do that a second time because there are 2 peaches in my card. And then go ahead and grab some of the pumpkin pie to get the peaches. And then if you notice the flower here, it's the same way coloring as the peach, but the center is green. So the way I did that again is the same way, ink up in Mango Melody. And then we want the centers to be Granny Apple Green. So what I did was I just took a Q-tip and I took off some of the color from the center. Just kind of buff it off with your Q-tip. And then using the other side of the Q-tip, dip it into Granny Apple Green and add that color in the center of each flower. And then, of course, you will get that. So that is how you get the green in the center of the flowers. So we're gonna use the die cuts to cut all these out, and then we're going to assemble our card like so. And there you have the finished cards. I made a second card exactly like this one, but this time I used the Sweet Strawberry stamp set, and I used Melon Mambo ink for the strawberries and Granny Apple Green for the leaves and the stems, exact same design and technique, and the same designer series paper for the black border there. So here's your Sweet as a Peach stamp set that we made first. And there are both the cards from today's video. I hope you enjoyed this and that you try this technique. It really is really easy and makes such vibrant, colorful cards. If you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. To subscribe, just click on the right button on the bottom, the red rectangle. Thanks for watching, everyone.